what is going on and what are my clients going to be curious about over the weekend. So just try to anticipate their needs. And again, that way you can have a relaxing weekend and so can they. Wow. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And that's how you get, I have like 68 5-star Google reviews. Okay. So that's how you do that. It's a Friday, it's raining, but I'm headed to the office because as a realtor, you absolutely have to prep for the weekend, whether you're working or not. And I'm gonna break all of that down because that might not make sense to you. Realtors, you should not only be in the office when you have showings over the weekend or when you have an appointment with a seller over the weekend. We need to be in the office on Fridays to prep for a weekend off as well. And what do I mean by that? I mean that when you take a weekend and you think that you don't have any appointments and you don't have any showings and your listings are on the market because we're in a slower seller's market right now, so your listings are maybe sitting on the market, or maybe even worse, your listings that are sitting on the market don't have showings over the weekend. Who's going to be texting you on their day off Saturday morning, 11 a.m. after they just made breakfast for the kids and they go, wait a second, do we have any showings this weekend? Honey, do we have any showings this weekend? No, we don't have any showings this weekend? What the? Let me text Christine. Let me see why we don't have any showings this weekend. And then guess, as a realtor, me, Christine, who gets that 11 a.m. text when I'm trying to enjoy my weekend? Christine, why don't we have any showings this weekend? How is our house priced? Why did the neighbor go pending? Do you think that we need a price reduction? Are you doing an open house tomorrow? Oh, that is the last text that you want to receive as a realtor. So I'm prepping on Friday. I'm telling my sellers everything that needs to happen. I'm telling my sellers everything that they need to know, all about our pricing, all about our showings. Are we doing an open house this weekend? Why and why not? That way they do not text me at 11 a.m. because I can tell you right now, I'm going to be on the boat with my husband tomorrow at 11 a.m. Our brand new boat, and nothing's going to ruin that. And here's the thing, it's not even about my day being ruined. I do not like anxiety. I do not like a bunch of questions. I don't like my clients to not know what's going on. So I'm going to take my Friday morning while it's raining, and I'm going to head to the office and I'm going to show you everything I do so that that doesn't happen. But I'm also going to show you everything that I do if I do have appointments, if I do have showings, and just get everything prepped so that there is no last minute issues, no last minute questions from my clients, and most importantly, happy clients. Fridays, I feel like a lot of people take off, but this is the cheat code to having like a calm, cool, and collected business. And I feel like I am decently calm, cool, and collected in my personal life. And I think that that really transferred over to my business and therefore transferred over to my clients. I know that real estate is very anxiety ridden for a lot of people, and selling a home can be very daunting, and there's a lot of really bad stories out there with working with agents. So this is just one thing I do, coming into the office on Fridays, or just kind of being at my desk on Fridays to prep for a good weekend. Because again, everything that I was saying on the way to the office is so true. You know, you don't want to think that you have a weekend off and then all of a sudden your clients are kind of spiraling because now they're not inundated with work to distract their mind. And then all of a sudden you're having a stressful conversation because you don't have all the answers to their questions that they need right now to maybe ease their anxiety. So I'm going to go through what I do for sellers and buyers, whether I'm working or not working. So I'm going to break this up into sellers that are under contract and still active on the market waiting for a buyer. And then later in the video, I'm going to do buyers that are under contract and buyers that are still looking. So obviously my sellers that are still on the market, on Friday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them a recap. I'm going to send them how many showings that we've had this week or this month, you know, whatever is most pertinent to their home. I'm going to send them anything new that came on the market. I'm going to send them any open houses that they'll see in their neighborhood. And really, if we're not doing an open house, it is for a reason that I've talked with my client about, and that's so many different things. So I'm not going to go into this on this video, but I'm just gonna kind of give them a basic rundown and let them know I'm thinking about them before the weekend. I'm also going to just send them again another list of their upcoming showings over the weekend just to let them know. And I really just do that for people that are still living in their home. They already know all of this information. I give information overload, but again, the point is going into the weekend, if you don't hear from me for 2 days, I don't want to just go into the weekend with radio silence. I want them to know exactly what's going on with the market, how are we looking in price. And another thing is, if it is a price point that maybe I think that we need a price reduction, I'm going to start having this conversation now. Hey guys, we have been on the market for this long. We do not have any showings over the weekend. You know, that's alarming because of XYZ, or that's not alarming because that's just the market right now and that's what, you know, we can expect. Or maybe we had a lot of showings during the week or something like that. Again, every situation's a little bit different, so I'm not going to get into the specifics of like price reductions right now. But if I have a client that is under contract, every single week there's different deadlines, right? And I always let my clients know ahead of time what all those deadlines are, but I say, don't worry about memorizing these because I will remind you of everything. And that is what my Fridays in the office are good for. So I pull up my calendar, and I have a whole Google Calendar that is strictly for transaction timelines. So I go to my Google Calendar, I'm doing it right now on my screen, and I look up my transaction timeline. So I can tell you right now, just looking at my next week, I have an appraisal delivery due date on Monday. I have a loan approval deadline. I have 2 loan approval deadlines on Tuesday. So what that means is I am sending my clients a text, an email, a phone call, whatever they like to, however they like to be, you know, fed information the best. A lot of this is through an email, these like little Friday updates. And what I'm doing is I'm going, hey, on Monday, we have an appraisal delivery for your property. You know, probably by Friday, we've already gotten it, but I'm just reiterating the facts. This is what's going to happen next week. I love an email that's like, this is what's going to happen in the coming days. That gives me so much peace. And I know that that gives my clients so much peace too, because now they're not going into the weekend. Again, people are not working over the weekend, you know, typically if they work like a 9-to-5 or a corporate job. So they start spiraling over the weekend. And this is such a good way to combat that. So, you know, instead of them sitting there on a Saturday morning going, okay, what is happening next with my house? I kind of haven't heard from Christine in a while. And that's absolutely never going to happen. I hate that. Makes my skin crawl even thinking about someone thinking that. But anywho, so then on Friday, even though the loan approvals are not happening until Tuesday, I'm going to text my clients, hey, happy Friday. This is what's happening next week. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Perfect. Now, if they have any questions, now is the time for them to get them out. You know, and I also think if you have touched base with your clients on Friday and they're going to text you over the weekend, obviously you're going to get back to them, but it's so much more unlikely that they're going to text you over the weekend. And again, this is not a video of like how to make sure your clients leave you alone over the weekend. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to have a calm, cool, collected business using organization, using thinking ahead to make sure that you as a realtor can have your weekend and also your clients are at peace. It's really 50-50. There's not one that's more important than the other, right? So I do have emails that go out all the time. A lot of these what's happening next emails go out on Friday, and I'll just show you a list of everything that I do. So I start all the way from if we are doing photos to get your house ready for the market next week, I have a let's get your home ready for the market next week email. The next one I have is like contract deadlines. That's for whenever things go under contract. Then I have an email that's literally called your home is under contract. Next steps. Perfect. Then I have home inspection scheduled email. Then I have an appraisal FAQ email. Then I have final steps before closing email. So, and then I have a thank you, and here's how to, you know, stop your HOA after closing. Here's how to stop your HOA payments. Here's how to do all of that. So every Friday, I just sit down and I look at my calendar and I go, what is going on? What is going on and what are my clients going to be curious about over the weekend? So just try to anticipate their needs. And again, that way you can have a relaxing weekend and so can they. It's a beautiful thing. And that's how you get, I have like 68 5-star Google reviews. Okay. So that's how you do that. That's pretty much it for my sellers. Now my buyers, Obviously, on Fridays, if I have showings over the weekend, which as a realtor, you typically are going to, you just have to get used to it. You are going to confirm all of those. You are going to write down absolutely everything that you need to know about those. So at this point, I'm putting everything on my iPad. My iPad does have 3G. I did that on purpose because I do not have to download all of the property disclosures ahead of time and print them off and do all of that while I'm in the property over the weekend. I have 3G, so I'm on the MLS and I'm opening up the disclosures. If you're not an agent, that might not make a lot of sense to you, but if you are an agent, you're going to be like, ooh, that's nice. Okay, so I am just double confirming every single showing. Now, at this point, I'm also taking the time to make sure that nothing has gone pending. A lot of agents, what they'll do is they will go under contract maybe a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they will not put the property pending until Monday. What you don't want to do as a realtor is waste your client's time, waste your time by going into a house over the weekend and you don't know it, but it is actually under contract. That's not fun, especially if you're looking in multiple areas because Orlando's like giant, so that's not fun. So you are going to text all of the agents this very, very important question. Hey, Joe Schmo, just confirming our appointment for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Did you get any offers? And make sure that they answer you. If they don't answer you, call them, because a lot of times people do have offers and you need to know that. You need to know if they have offers. And if they do, make sure you make a note of that. So I can go into a whole other video on how I organize my showings and everything that I do to line up my weekend showings. Now, if my buyer is still looking but doesn't have any showings lined up for that weekend, this is when I'm doing a very, very, very thorough search. Not only am I doing a thorough search, but I am looking up to see agents that sell in maybe that particular neighborhood, if they have anything coming on the market, maybe early next week. Hey, can we get into that home early? So this is just really touching base with everyone, confirming everything. You know, that's for my buyers that are, you know, have active showing requests over the weekend. And then for my people that are not under contract yet, I am double checking our search to make sure we're not missing anything, because that's the other thing. If you're a realtor and you're not in the office on Fridays, a lot of things go active on Fridays. So you're going to want to make sure you're in the office, at least at your desk, Friday morning, and double checking maybe again Friday afternoon to make sure that nothing has come on the market. That is super, super important because we don't miss anything. So again, I hope that this helps. This is just my personal Friday routine. You know, this doesn't have to be at 8 a.m. It is literally 11 a.m. on a Friday right now. And I am setting up my weekend. I'm setting up my client's weekend for success, because the week is 7 days and the weekend is 2 of those 7 days. That's like, I don't know, a fourth of the week. And you cannot just ignore your business and ignore your clients during that time. So I hope that this helps. I hope this keeps you organized. I love to be organized. I love my clients to know all the time what is in the know, and I hope that this helps. So if you have any questions about buying, selling, or helping anyone buy or sell, please just leave a comment below. Go to my website, look in the description of this YouTube, and you'll have all my contact info and you can ask me any questions. Bye.